Imagine an ocean where every wave is made of wind-blown sand, where whale bones sleep beneath dunes, and stars reflect in green glass forged by cosmic fire. The Sahara is not empty. It is a library of secrets, written grain by grain. Welcome to the deep dive. We've got this really fascinating stack of sources today all about the Sahara.
Yeah, it's an amazing topic.
So we're going to trek across, 9 million square kilometers of this sun-bleached mystery, try and uncover some hidden rivers, lost cities, maybe even glimpse its future.
Sounds like a plan. There's so much more than just sand out there.
Definitely. It feels like there are tons of secrets buried under what most people just think of as, a barren wasteland. Okay, so let's start with the image everyone has. Endless sand, right? Sun-baked dunes.
The classic Sahara picture.
But what if I told you that actually not that long ago, in the grand scheme of things, this huge desert was green, like really green, a paradise almost?
It seems hard to believe, doesn't it? But the evidence is, well, it's quite compelling. We're talking about a time called the African Humid Period. It lasted roughly from, say, 14,000 to about 5,000 years ago. And during that time, the Sahara got a lot more rain. It completely transformed.
How do we know? What's the proof?
Well, first off, rocks art. You find these carvings and paintings deep in the desert, miles from any water now. And they show hippos, giraffes,
Wow,
cattle herders, people living a pastoral life, and, amazingly, boats.
boats. Wait, boats in the Sahara. That really makes you stop and think. So proper waterways then.
Exactly. Navigable ones, it seems. And it's not just the art. The fossils tell an incredible story, too.
Okay.
In Egypt, there's Wadi al-Hitan. It means Whale Valley.
Whale Valley.
Yep. You find actual fossilized whale skeletons there. Now, okay, those are much older, from the Tethys Ocean millions of years ago, but they show the potential. More recently, though, think crocodiles. Crocodiles and even Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus,
Okay.
the huge carnivorous dinosaur.
That's the one, the largest meat-eating dino ever, and probably the only one we know that was truly semi-aquatic. Finding its fossils there proves there were significant permanent water bodies. Big rivers, lakes.
It's just surreal picturing that. Giant semi-aquatic dinosaurs. So what kind of water are we talking? And did we find evidence of actual lakes and rivers? Big ones?
Yeah. Satellite scans have been revolutionary here. Back in 2010, researchers found this massive ancient lake bed in the eastern Sahara, over 100,000 square kilometers, formed when the Nile overflowed.
Huge.
And other studies suggest maybe even bigger ones, one possibly larger than all the Great Lakes combined. Think about that, 160 meters deep.
That's staggering.
And then there's the Tamanrasset River,
Okay.
a vanished river. They've mapped its course using radar. It flowed through West Africa maybe as recently as 5,000 years ago, over 1,200 kilometers long.
Wow.
If it existed today, it'd be the 12th largest river basin on Earth.
That is just an incredible amount of water. So the big question then, how does a place like that, this lush paradise with mega lakes and huge rivers, turn into the desert we see today? And you mentioned relatively quickly.
Right, the speed is key. It wasn't a slow decline over millennia. It seems to have happened within maybe just a few centuries.
Centuries. That's incredibly fast.
It is. The main suspect is a wobble in the Earth's orbit. It's part of these long cycles, Milankovitch cycles, specifically one called precession.
Like the Earth's axis tilting.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
A very slow wobble in its spin, roughly every 21,000 years.
Yeah.
It changes how much solar radiation hits North Africa, which affects the monsoon. Basically, the rain's weakened dramatically.
Okay, that makes sense for a big climate switch. But I think I've also read, wasn't there some debate about humans maybe having a role, like speeding things up?
Yeah, that's a really interesting discussion. Some researchers, like David Wright, propose that maybe early humans with their cattle and goats, well, they might have overgrazed. Removing vegetation changes how much sunlight reflects off the ground, which can, reduce rainfall further. So maybe they acted as a catalyst, pushed it over the edge faster.
But it's debated.
Oh, definitely. Others argue maybe the herders actually helped maintain the green Sahara for longer through careful land use. It's hard to know for sure. But either way, these cycles of greening and drying, they acted like this massive gate.
A gate.
Yeah, a gate controlling migration.
Yeah.
When the Sahara was green, people and animals could move across it easily. When it turned to desert, it became a huge barrier. It really shaped how life spread out of Africa.
That's a powerful image, a continental gate opening and closing. So beyond the rock art, what about actual settlements, people living there?
Oh, the archaeology is amazing. Take the Garamantes in Libya.
Okay.
Using satellite images, archaeologists found over 100 of their fortified settlements. And they survived partly thanks to these incredible underground water channels called foggera, tapping into ancient water sources.
Wow, so they were real masters of water management even as things got drier. What else from the greener times?
Well, in Niger, there's Gobero. It's a cemetery, about 10,000 years old, over 200 burials found there. Yeah, and they show real complexity. People buried with jewelry, ochre paint, fishing harpoons. Suggests quite sophisticated societies living near those ancient lakes.
Fishing harpoons. Makes sense if there were lakes.
Right. And then down in southern Egypt, you have Nabta Playa.
Nabta Playa.
It's a stone circle, like a mini Stonehenge, but actually about 1,000 years older than Stonehenge.
Older than Stonehenge.
In the Sahara.
Yep. And it's aligned precisely to the summer solstice. Suggests pretty advanced astronomical knowledge way back then, maybe linked to predicting rains or tracking seasons for cattle.
That really shifts your perspective on early human history. It sounds like a whole chapter is just buried out there.
It really does. And look at Tesselina Ager in Algeria.
Right, the rock art place.
Exactly. But it's more than just animals. Over 15,000 engravings and paintings. Some are 10,000 years old. They show daily life, people dancing, maybe rituals, villages. Clear evidence of settled communities. And it makes you wonder. You know those ancient Egyptian texts that talk about a fertile land of the West? A paradise? Yeah, I've heard of that. Often seen as symbolic, right?
Usually. But maybe. Just maybe. It's a kind of cultural memory. A faint echo of when the land to their west was green and fertile.
That's a fascinating thought. What about the Sphinx? I know there's a controversial idea about water erosion.
Right.
Linking it to this green period.
Ah, yes. Dr. Robert Schoch's work. It's definitely thought-provoking. He looked at the erosion patterns on the Sphinx itself, and especially the walls of the enclosure around it.
Okay.
And he argues that the deep vertical fissures look much more like erosion from heavy rainfall over a long time, not just wind and sand erosion from the last few thousand dry years.
So implying it rained a lot more when it was carved.
That's the implication.
Yeah.
If he's right, it would mean the Sphinx might be thousands of years older than mainstream Egyptology suggests, maybe dating back to that African humid period.
Wow. That would rewrite everything. Still debated, though, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. Very much debated. But it shows how understanding the Sahara's past climate can challenge even our most established historical timelines. And it's not just the climate history. The geology itself is incredible, and cosmic impacts, too. They leave their mark.
Right, like the Eye of the Sahara, you see pictures from space, this giant bullseye.
Exactly. The Richet structure in Mauritania, it's huge, 40 kilometers across. People first thought meteorite impact.
Makes sense. It looks like one.
It does, but the geology doesn't quite fit. No shocked quartz, things like that. The current thinking is it's a geological dome that's been slowly uplifted and then eroded over millions of years. Still a bit of a mystery, though, how it formed so perfectly circular.
A natural wonder, then. But you mentioned actual impacts. Are there meteorites found there?
Oh, tons. The Sahara is one of the best places on Earth to find meteorites.
Really? Why is that?
Well, think about it. Dark rocks falling on pale sand. They just stand out. Plus, the dry climate preserves them really well. Almost 20%, maybe 1/5 of all meteorites ever found come from the Sahara.
That's amazing. A natural museum display.
It really is. And we have found craters, too. Like the Camille crater in Egypt, pretty small, 45 meters, but only about 5,000 years old. And the much bigger Kibera crater, maybe 5 kilometers wide.
Wow.
And maybe the most famous connection is Libyan desert glass.
Right, this greenish glass.
Exactly. Found scattered across parts of the desert. It formed about 29 million years ago when something huge, an asteroid or comet, hit the Earth there. The heat was so intense it melted the sand into glass.
And wasn't that used in Tutankhamun's treasure?
Precisely. The centerpiece of one of his famous pectoral necklaces, that scarab beetle, it's carved from this Libyan desert glass. So King Tut was wearing a piece of a cosmic catastrophe from millions of years ago.
That is mind-blowing. Ancient Egyptians winning space glass. Okay, so bringing it to more recent times, even today's Sahara, it's not actually empty, is it? Life finds a way.
Not at all empty. Despite the extremes, you've got amazing adaptations. The little fennec fox with its huge ears for cooling, the Adax antelope, incredibly rare now, adapted to get water just from plants, and the Saharan silver ant.
Silver ant?
Yeah, it's considered the hottest land animal on Earth because it can forage when surface temperatures are scorching, over 70 degrees Celsius sometimes. It basically sprints between shadows.
Unbelievable. And humans. How do people live and travel there now?
Well, you have groups like the Tuareg people, sometimes called the Blue Men of the Desert because of their indigo robes. Fiercely independent nomadic culture.
And they still run those legendary salt caravans, right?
They do. The Azalai routes. Thousands of camels, still carrying massive pillars of salt mined from ancient lake beds in oases like Bilma.
How do they even navigate? It seems so
It's
featureless.
incredible knowledge passed down generations. They read the stars, the wind patterns, the shape of the dunes, even subtle signs like camel droppings from previous caravans. It's organic navigation.
Wow. And those oases, like Bilma, they rely on underground water.
Absolutely. There are huge underground aquifers beneath the Sahara. Like the Nubian sandstone aquifer system, it holds vast amounts of water. But here's the catch. It's mostly fossil water,
Fossil water, meaning?
meaning it seeped in during those ancient wet periods thousands of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really being replenished now, or only very, very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's used for large-scale agriculture, which is happening more and more, it's essentially being mined. It's a non-renewable resource, really.
That's a serious concern for the future, though.
A huge concern. And thinking about movement, the Sahara wasn't always just a barrier people had to cross. For centuries, it was actually a major highway, a conduit.
A highway? How so?
Think about the medieval trans-Saharan trade. From maybe the 8th century up to the 16th or 17th, huge caravans. We're talking sometimes up to 12,000 camels in a single caravan.
12,000 camels. That's an army. What were they carrying?
Gold, mostly. Gold from West Africa going north.
Mm-mm.
Also ivory, slaves, exotic goods. And coming south, salt, which was incredibly valuable. Cloth, beads, manufactured goods.
So a massive economic engine.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just goods. Ideas traveled too.
Huh?
This trade network was crucial in spreading Islam southwards into West Africa. It really shaped the cultures and economies of half the continent.
Right. So what happened? Why did this massive trade decline?
Well, a few things. A big factor was European exploration. When the Portuguese started sailing down the West African coast in the 15th century, they opened up sea routes.
Bypassing the desert?
Exactly. It became easier and cheaper to trade by ship along the coast. And then there were political shifts, conflicts, like the Moroccan invasion of the Songhai Empire around 1591, which disrupted key trading cities like Timbuktu and Gao.
Ah, okay.
So the trans-Saharan routes lost their dominance. Some, like those Tuareg salt routes, the Azalai, they still exist in a smaller way, but trucks, borders, modern conflicts, they've all changed the game.
History shifting like the sands themselves.
Yeah.
So looking ahead, what about the Sahara's future? We know the climate changed dramatically in the past. What's happening now and what might happen next?
Well, right now, the desert is generally expanding. Data suggests it's grown by about 10% just since 1920.
10%. That's a lot. Is that natural or?
It seems to be a mix. About 2/3 might be natural climate cycles, but maybe 1/3 of that recent expansion looks linked to human-driven climate change. Changes in rainfall patterns, land use.
Okay. But you mentioned these natural cycles, the orbital wobble. Does that mean it's due to get green again someday?
Based on those Milankovitch cycles, yes. The precession cycle suggests the conditions should favor another greening period, but not for a while. Maybe in about 15,000 years.
15,000 years. Okay, not exactly imminent.
Not imminent, no. But here's a modern twist. Anthropogenic climate change, the greenhouse gases we're putting out. They could potentially interfere with that natural cycle. Maybe delay it, maybe change it somehow. We might be, as some say, rewriting the script.
That's sobering, influencing these vast planetary cycles. And I've heard some pretty wild ideas about like making it green again, terraforming the Sahara.
Oh yeah, there's some seriously ambitious proposals out there. Mega terraforming ideas.
Like what? Just pump water in?
Kind of. Some plans involve massive desalination plants on the coasts, piping fresh water inland, maybe using underground pipes directly to tree roots to avoid evaporation, and then planting billions of trees. Hardy stuff like eucalyptus.
Billions. What would be the goal?
The idea is these trees would grow fast, absorb huge amounts of CO2, maybe billions of tons a year, and also cool the region through transpiration. Some models suggest it could cool the Sahara by up to 8 degrees Celsius.
That sounds incredible, but also incredibly expensive.
Astronomical figures are thrown around. Maybe $2 trillion a year, a colossal undertaking.
Wow. Okay. Besides the cost, are there downsides? Potential problems?
Oh, definitely. Big environmental questions. For one, a wetter Sahara could become a perfect breeding ground for locusts. You could trigger massive plagues that threaten agriculture across North Africa and beyond.
Locusts. Right? Didn't think of that.
And maybe even more significantly, the Amazon rainforest connection.
How are the Sahara and Amazon connected?
Dust. Right now, huge plumes of dust blow off the Sahara, travel across the Atlantic,
Okay.
and fall in the Amazon basin. And that dust is rich in phosphorus and other nutrients that are actually vital for fertilizing the Amazon ecosystem, which has relatively poor soil otherwise.
So Sahara dust feeds the Amazon.
In a very real way, yes.
Yeah.
If you suddenly green the Sahara, stop that dust flow, you could inadvertently starve the Amazon of essential nutrients. The knock-on effects could be huge and completely unintended. It's a complex system.
Yeah, it really highlights how interconnected everything is on the planet. You can't just change one massive piece without affecting others.
Which brings us back to, what else don't we know? Given everything we've found, the green past, lost cities, cosmic glass, how much more is still hidden out there?
That's a great question. Have we even looked properly?
Honestly, barely. Estimates are that less than 1% of the Sahara has been surveyed using modern archaeological techniques. Less than 1%.
Wow. So the chances of finding another Gobera cemetery or another Nabta Playa.
They have to be pretty high, right? There could be entire settlements, ceremonial sites, maybe even whole chapters of human history just waiting under the sand.
It's mind-boggling. Any weird finds lately that hint at what's out there?
Well, people find odd things even just scrolling through Google Earth. There's that strange Orion City-looking art installation someone built out there, these weird blue potash evaporation ponds in the middle of nowhere.
Huh.
And remember that World War II plane, an American P-40 Kitty Hawk fighter. It crashed in 1942, and the pilot presumably walked off into the desert.
Yeah.
It was found almost perfectly preserved by the dry air, just sitting there on the sand, 70 years later, discovered by chance in 2012.
70 years.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. Incredible.
It just shows that Sahara holds on to things. Every time something new turns up, it feels like it rewrites a little bit of the history books, doesn't it? Both human history and natural history. There's just so much more to learn.
Absolutely. The Sahara is both graveyard and greenhouse past oceans, future forests.
And every gust of wind turns another page we have yet to read. You know, deserts are sometimes called lifeless. It's easy to see why, maybe. Yet here, you have dunes that remember hippo swimming, stones that map the stars, glass that holds the fire of a cosmic kiss from millions of years ago. The Sahara really teaches us that nothing stays fixed. Not climate, not culture. It's always changing. Even the emptiest horizon. You know, it just hums with these hidden stories.
Thank you for being on this trip with us. Stay curious, stay grounded, and stay tuned for the next one.